Where is Con?
Here I am.
Hey, Con. And how are you today, Con?
I'm very well. Very, very,
I can hear.
very
Worry about that. Here we go.
I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray.
Hooray.
Con, that just goes to prove that we're human, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Everybody can make a mistake. But you're very good at making mistakes.
Get off. I'm absolutely perfect.
Anyway, my name is Con,
And my name is Jack.
and the two of us are here together to try and amuse you for the next hour or so, or whatever length of time we are allotted. Right, so shall I tell everybody knows what they're doing nowadays, do they? Where all the buttons are and everything. Yes? Yeah, oh, good. Okay, let's see what we're going to do today. What we got up to last month, of course, I should be telling you my stories, and Dick should be telling you his, and then Dick should be telling you about his ordeal with the virus. Wow! And then we're having some memories from 20.
Just interrupt there, Con. Hands up, all the people here today who know anybody who's had coronavirus.
Oh, we got one, John Hutchison, yeah, and Terry.
Not many at all. Well, now you can all put your hands up because you know me. And I've had coronavirus for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, wow.
Tell you all about it in a minute. On
Yeah.
you go, Con.
Yeah, with that, we're going to have some memories from 2015, and then we have some birthdays coming up. Wow,
Yep.
lots of birthdays this month, and then we have a special epic, a song I asked Deck to record, a song called "If," and that turned out to be a bit of an epic, especially recording the video. And then
My hand is up. Look, just in saying, John Hutchinson says that he knows 10 people who've had corona.
wow,
And here's a jokey bit. Then he lives up north, Con. I live down south, but you live up north as well.
I know, yeah.
On you go.
Well, after our epic song of "If," we're going to have our competition, and as usual, whoever wins the competition gets to talk to us for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then to finish off the whole epic, we're going to sing one of our hit songs, which is "Chapel in the Moonlight," and I'm looking forward to seeing that because it took us a while to record that and to do the video and everything. So anyway, Deck, what did you get up to this last month?
Well, there's quite a lot of people going on the chat. People's Bernadette McManus has said sorry to Lynn because Lynn's cousin was lost to the virus.
Oh dear.
Else is lost, and God, I know a few. A close friend of mine died earlier on, and here's the saddest thing of all for Con and I, a dear, dear, dear friend of ours, and you will most probably remember him, Eric Hall. We used to lovingly call him Monster, 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 and he was responsible for launching so many hit careers, including ours. He was the man that promoted all our records to all the record companies, to the TV companies, to the radio companies, all through the 60s. He worked for Dorothy and Philip Solomon. Lovely man. I used to go up to Camberley, I think it was. He had his radio station, Radio Sussex or Radio Essex. Was it? No, Radio Essex, yeah. And I used to go and see him about every 3 months and do about
He worked in the office, didn't he? In our office, which was at the back of Melcher Music. And it so happened, though, we were in there one day in the office, in our office, Dorothy Solomon's office it was. And we went across the road for a cup of tea. And we're sat there having a cup of tea, and there were two other ladies sat in the corner, and they stood up and walked out. And our manager, Dorothy Solomon, said to us, "Do you know who that was?" I said, "I've no idea who those two ladies were." Well, she said, one of them was Doris Day. Now, there's a thing. Oh, we're that sitting that close to her, and never got to say hello to her. But I used to love all her films and everything. She was wonderful, wonderful artist she was. And then another bit of bad news that I got just today was another great friend of ours, Peter Allis. Any golfers will remember Peter Allis. He used to do the commentary for BBC for all the big golf tournaments, and Peter, unfortunately, has died, and he will be sadly, sadly missed. I used to do some golf tournaments for his wife used to run charity golf tournaments, and I played in quite a few of them. So they were very dear friends, lovely, lovely people. And Peter will be very sorely missed.
So, Con, what did you get up to this week? And if you notice, I've got my hand up, and
I've seen that.
national Zoom signal for wanting to speak. And I do notice, Con, you're not doing it at all.
Well, I've done a lot of gardening this while, and I've got a lovely lad, Danny, who's working with my son Philip out in the garden. They've been working out there for about a week, and I went out last night to see what they've been up to, and the changes are astonishing. They really are. Blew my mind completely. Go on, Dick.
Yeah, do you want to see it? Would everybody love to see Con's Gardening Club? Here it.
Yep.
My pond is covered in green stuff. There's Carol and Neil down there planting more trees and things. One big courgette there, it's all that's left. There's nothing in there at all. Oh, it's a foggy day here. There's some cattle up there. Raised bed is empty. Loads of apples up there. My poor cabbages have been eaten by something, even though I kept them covered. Look at the apples though. Wow. Ooh, birds flying about. With all these apples, they've fallen off the tree. There's millions more up there. Wow. Might be some potatoes in there, which I shall dig up later on. It's lovely up here in the raised bed section, I suppose you could call it. A foggy day in Yorkshire. Yeah, I think these tomatoes have had a day. Those leeks are looking good though. So far so good. It's our pile of manure over there. Compost. Poor tomatoes. Just picking the courgettes. There's another one hiding there. There we are, in the basket. Another one growing in there. We'll leave that for a while. Wow. They just made that wall there, which is brilliant. Up to the raised beds. Stanley, who's helping as well.
Trying his best.
Yeah. Wow. Clearing all that up there. And that's Rastrick up there. Wow. All those apples up there. You're doing a great job. Wonderful job here. Wow.
There's one thing I noticed, Con. We never ever see you with a trowel in your hand or a shovel in your hand or a spade in your hand. You seem to be employing half of Yorkshire.
Well, I tell you what, all those apples, you should have been here yesterday, because most of those apples, I was cutting them up and juicing them, turning them into juice, and I've got bottles and bottles of apple juice at the moment.
Whoa.
So that's what I've been doing.
I'll have some of that, Con. I love apple juice.
Oh, it is lovely.
McManus says the view reminds her of Iceland.
Yeah.
And Hutchinson saying that the views are beautiful, isn't it? They are quite beautiful, Con.
Yeah, there are some stunning views.
Something very honestly now, I would much rather watch Monty Don. Okay. So listen, the next thing we're going to do, Con, shall I tell them about my COVID ordeal?
Yeah, go on. Give us a laugh.
Well, it wasn't a laugh. It was. The thing I've personally noticed about all this COVID and coronavirus is that there's nobody medical actually telling us what to expect if you get it or when you get it. Nobody told me. I couldn't find any information at all, and I found out for myself. What happened to me, now this may be quite unusual, and the thing I've learned from all this is that everybody seems to get different symptoms. My ordeal happened on a Friday. I woke up in the morning and I had that flu feeling. We all know that low-grade flu. It's not really flu, but we all call it flu. A bug. And I was out of sorts and I was feeling awful, dreadful. In fact, it hit me badly. It didn't put me to bed or anything like that. I was still in my studio working. It came to the evening and the whole family said, Daddy, you've got to have yourself tested at your age, etc., etc., etc. I said, okay. So I rang them at 2 o'clock on Saturday, 2:15 actually. At 3 o'clock I was having the test, which was so efficient. They were gorgeous and lovely, so efficient, professional. I don't know what the news people are complaining about at all. It was sensational. By the next day, they said for 24 to 48 hours, 12 hours, I had the result. Positive, of course. Frightened the life out of me, but hey, what can you do about it? That was my attitude. I had no symptoms then whatsoever, except that I went into an extreme low. People who know me, and I'm sure you all know me, know that I'm a very up person, very happy person, laughing all the time. Everything is a joke. Some people actually get offended with me because I do feel everything is a joke. It's not really, but there's no point in being morose about things. You have to be happy. Irish people get up every day wanting to make everybody they meet happy, and Con will agree with that, and anybody Irish will agree with that. Anyway, I drifted on low. It was awful. And on the following Sunday, I won't go into the gory details, but out of my front part came all this blood and guts and all that. Nobody told me about that. I'm sure nobody has told you about that. This may have been particular to me. Frightened the life out of me. I rang 111, who were superb, and they said, if it gets worse, ring 999. And I did. It got worse, and I did. And I got myself to A&E. The fourth time going to the loo, totally clear. I had one tiny episode the next day, and that was it. But here's the marvellous part, and this is how tremendous the NHS is. And again, I can't understand why the news and all that decries the NHS. They rang me up, they got me in so fast, and they checked everything. I didn't know there were so many holes in your body where they could stick cameras. But they had cameras coming out of everywhere. Tremendous. They gave me a total bill of health. And they said, belt and braces, you don't need to do it, but we want you to have a CT scan, and that's, I think it's tomorrow. Just belt and braces. But they gave me a complete bill of... Now, what was that all about? Does anybody out there have any experience whatsoever? I'll put it on to...
Well, Linda might be able to tell us.
Wait now. Does anybody else have any experience of the symptoms? Bernadette, unmute yourself.
Well, I had it. Hi, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Okay.
My husband had it, and he does manual work for Conway's. You know, gets up early, and he's very, very strong. But he just felt completely wiped out for about 3 days. And also, you're saying about. And also pain when going to the toilet as well. So he had that as well. But I had a sore throat. We all had different symptoms. I had a sore throat, so I didn't even know that was a symptom that went away again. And then I just felt very tired with it, but I'm feeling okay now. My son, who's 11, he just had sniffles for 1 day and he's been completely fine. So I think people can get really, but I think there's a lot of people that is suffering as well, Dec, with long COVID as well. There's a lot of people that are really, really suffering as well. So we were my family was quite lucky, we got it quite mild, but there is people that have been off work for months and months and months, and people don't always know about them. So, but I'm glad you're feeling better now.
That's wonderful, Bernadette.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the danger one is when it gets into your lungs. When it gets into your lungs, that's what kills you, really. So I've heard.
With Eric Hall, dear Eric Hall, it was very tragic. He went into hospital. He got E. coli. They got him out of that. Then he got septicemia in hospital. They got him out of that. He went home, and 3 days later, he was dead from COVID. Isn't that amazing? But anyway, let's cheer ourselves up.
On that happy note.
It's nearly Christmas time. Shall we remind the boys and girls, the ladies and gentlemen, of what went on in 2015 with our Christmas? Shall we do that?
I think so, and we shall never see it again.
Absolutely.
2015,
what it used to be in the old days.
Yeah.
Is this what Sunday afternoon looks like in the Tusky household?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness me. They know how to relax. Oh, look, he's playing his guitar as well. Go on, give us a tune. Give us a tune, go on. Crew arrives.
Hello, George. How you doing, mate?
Crew arrives to go. Where are we going off to? Garstang, is it? Garstang?
Garstang.
Yeah.
I believe it is.
So this is what it looks like
Yeah.
when we're relaxing just before we go off to a show. Do a show.
Christmas, everybody! I'm Zach, and I'm Paul. We're Paul and Zach. Love Bachelors!
And then my lot went to the Christmas fair at the bandstand in Eastbourne, celebrating 700 years of trading in Eastbourne. Here we are at the bandstand in Eastbourne. Christmas time in the bandstand. Lovely Lovely huskies. Yeah.
He's not bothered.
And the rest of the dogs with the breed. Oh, there's a big one. Oh, lovely. And here we are. Santa's Grotto. Here at the bandstand. In the dark. Oh. Can we see? A reindeer. Now, in to see Santa Claus. Oh, look, there he is. There he is. Oh, my goodness me. My goodness me.
How old are you?
Wow.
Just because we get around.
Well, here we are, Lark in the Park, and the patron of Lark in the Park is for all the kids, and we're welcoming them at the door. Going to get going in a second, and look who we've got here. We've got, oh, Father Christmas! Oh my goodness me! Look at that! I got you. Don't worry, I got you. We're just waiting for the kids. Waiting for the kids. There we are. All the girls from Eastbourne College looking after their buddies for the kids. Buddies for the kids. Are we going in this way? Yeah. There we are. Oh, there we are. All the kids going mad. And Victoria's on in about 3 minutes' time. And I can never believe it when Con does this Father Christmas Santa Claus stint for Rotary in Elland. Believe it or not, he gets up on the sleigh and goes all around the town and the surrounding districts. Great fun, and he absolutely loves it to death. He loves talking to the kids, and nobody understands that it's Con at all. He completely keeps his identity secret. Good for him.
Ho, ho, ho! This is me, as Santa Claus, and we're going out on the sleigh. This is our Christmas sleigh. Hey, hey, hey! After me do as Santa, it was actually, we had great fun, and the kids loved it.
And this is my annual Christmas cream cake ritual. There's the cream cakes. One for Victoria, one for me. And I have to, every Christmas Eve, I have to eat a cream cake. This is the most amazing sight in the world. It's our marine hotel, they call it, but it's a bar really, and we come here every year. Just look at these decorations. That's something else. It's actually quite normal down there, but they do wonderful food. Got little nookie restaurants everywhere. But isn't that amazing? Oh, look at that. That is astonishing.
Wow.
What did you think of that, Con?
Well, I was just reminiscing there about the sleigh, Christmas sleigh. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do it this year with the COVID thing going on. But Dave TV have hired our Rotary sleigh for a program called Meet the Richardsons, and I believe it's being shown on the 9th on Dave TV. So I think, have you got a picture of it there? They brought their own Santa along, and I must say, Santa has had a shave, and I think he's had a facelift as well. So have you got that picture there?
A friend, is it?
Oh, well, I don't know who was, but he was somebody hired by Dave TV to, and I don't know what the storyline is for the TV show, but it's on Meet the Richardsons, and I believe it's on the 9th.
I don't think it's Mrs. Santa Claus, is it?
I don't think so. But he's definitely had a shave and a facelift.
Well, we've got some birthdays coming up, Con, I believe.
That's right, yeah. Who have we got? Well, I tell you who we've got. Is Lynn there at all?
I'm here.
Oh, she's there.
Yeah.
Hello, Lynn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you have a cake for somebody.
Yes, I'll
special.
have to call Kevin down. So hang on, I've got my speaker.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Kevin!
I do believe that we've got some birthdays, have we?
Yeah. And I think it's your birthday, actually. Okay, everybody sing together because it's Steck's birthday on the 23rd. And so that's how we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
All right, you might need to write them again.
Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Some candles for you to blow out, Deck, if you've still got some puff. So happy birthday for the 23rd.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Hey.
It is someone else's birthday. I reminded you about Catherine. It's her birthday on the 14th.
Catherine, that's lovely. Have we got Catherine there? So, would you like to say, everybody say, happy birthday
to you.
Catherine.
Happy birthday to you.
Catherine.
Happy birthday, dear Catherine. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
And Catherine, wait now, hold on a second. You have to go 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wow, that was a big puff. Oh,
That was magic.
big puff of wind.
You know, Con, I don't know how we do this. It's quite astonishing. We have got something special coming up now, haven't we?
Oh, indeed.
Keep talking,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
one of my
you
favourite
know the
songs.
deal.
In actual fact, I met the chap who wrote this song over in America. We're doing the show over there. And it's silly thing. On the way back to the airport, he was walking ahead of me with his good lady wife. And I said to him, do you mind if I have a picture taken with you? He said, no, not at all. So I stood in for a photograph, and there was some of the other acts coming along. They said, come on, join in. He said, no, I just want you in this picture. So anyway, I gave the camera to somebody else. They took the picture, flash went off, everything. And then when I got home, I discovered there was no film in the camera. So, oh, there you go. Anyway.
Well, may I say this, I really enjoy doing, because this was arranged by our favourite arranger, orchestrator. Dear man, he did all the Lulu stuff, Walker Brothers, all of our stuff, Alan Price, Georgie Fame, the list went on. Just look his name up, Reg Guest, arranger, orchestrator, 3,500 plus records. And he was broke all the time, but then afterwards, when the rules changed in the Musicians Union, he then had royalties coming in from 3,500 hits. Isn't that astonishing? But have a listen to this. Oh, I must say I added to the orchestration. Of course I did. And we had the Vienna Symphony strings. I used the piano. Con was supposed to play the piano part for it, actually, and he bottled out. Didn't you, Con? You bottled out.
Well, it's a bit difficult, you know.
So you asked your brother to do it.
I
And
know. You could do it note by note down there.
I know. And the piano is actually, you won't believe this, but it's the grand piano from Studio 2 in Abbey Road. It's called the Grand Rhapsody. And this is our version of the incredible Bread song written by David Gates. And it's called
If.
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 If a picture paints 1,000 words, then why can't I paint you? The words would never show the you I've come to know. If a face could launch 1,000 ships, then where am I to go? There's no one home but you. You're all that's left me to do. And when my love for life is running dry, you'll come and pour yourself on me. If a man could be 2 places at one time, I'd be with you tomorrow and today, beside you all the way. If the world should stop revolving, spinning slowly down to die, I'd spend the end with you. And when the world was through, then one by one the stars would all go out, and you and I would simply fly
Wow, look at all that applause.
Let's see the applause. Let's see the applause.
Hey,
Incredible. Amazing applause. Amazing. Thank
oh,
you so much. Thank you so much. I'll tell you what,
yeah.
I must say, Con, that was the most enjoyable song to do that I think we've ever done. It was very intricate, very difficult, very extreme musically, and it was gorgeous. And I learned, hold your breath for this, everybody. For that song, I learned to play the harp,
Wow.
and that was really playing the harp.
Oh, I didn't know you owned a harp.
God, I can't believe that I did it. I can't believe that anybody could be nuts enough to do that. I thought, wouldn't a harp sound lovely in that? It can't be hard to do. It can't be that hard to do. And I studied it. Do you know, I had it in a day. In a
Wow.
day, I had it. So that's me playing the harp. It's also me playing the Mark tree, which is that lovely thing that, if anybody remembers Ken Newton, our drummer that was with us for years, nod your heads if you do. Ken, he used to always travel a what's called a Mark tree, little tubes on a stick, and you got it, and you went, makes a beautiful sound.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
lovely.
over to you, because you are going to tell people about the competition.
Oh, the competition, yeah. No, here's the thing. Who's got some good memories? And the question is all about 1964. And can you name any of the supporting artists that were with us in Blackpool in 1964? And it was on the Central Pier. So who's got a good memory, or who was there? You see Lynn scratching her head there. Linda. Ah, dear.
Nobody. You're kidding! One of them we've mentioned so many times on this show.
Yeah.
We've got. Wait, no, Mike Newman. Catherine Coates has said Mike Newman. No, unfortunately not. John Leyland has answered one. I'm waiting for somebody else. The Nolans, no. Mike Howard, no. Mike and Bernie Winters, no. We've got one person who's right so far. And he's mentioned one, and it was Ray Fell. The
Right.
comic was Johnny Hackett.
Johnny Hackett. Yeah.
Of course, the main star of the show was actually Al Reed. We were second top. But I don't need to tell you who brought in all the audiences. It was 20 weeks, 2 shows a night, and it was sold out for the whole of the season.
Yeah. There was a flag, if you remember, there was a flag flying over the pier with the Bachelors written on it. And I managed to get hold of that flag. I still have it today. And I often look at it and think it brings back lovely memories. Go on, Doc.
And Con, can you remember the times that the police had to come along and had to put a rope ladder over the back of the pier down onto the sand? This is for real. With the crowds outside, we couldn't get through the crowds, and the police had to escort us down a rope ladder at the back down onto the sand and then drive us away.
Yeah, because that year was fantastic for us because
What?
we
Listen,
had
Con. This is not about us talking. This is about the
the competition. Yeah, the competition.
And the winner of the competition this week is none other than that famous ex-policeman, the man who travels the world, the man who does fantastic photographs of steam trains and anything else that gets in his way, ships and everything. And he sent Con and I 2 beautiful calendars, which we treasure. That man is the one, the only John Leyland.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, John.
Thanks for the calendar. Thank you.
Hi, you're welcome. Right, so do I finally get to ask a question?
Oh, yeah.
I've been saving this one up for months. What I'd like you to do, it's really because I'm interested, but other people might find it interesting. Can you take us through a little ride along your first ever session at Decca when you recorded those 4 tracks in October 1962 with Reg Guest?
Well, first of all, we did the session. We came down from Scotland. We were up in Scotland at the time in Arbroath doing a summer season. And we came down and we all the way down, and we played our own instruments on the record, and we were actually dreadful. And we went all the way back home up to Arbroath and felt a complete failure. But Dick Rowe was very, very kind to us. He was the top man at Decca, and he invited us back down again and introduced us to Reg Guest. And Reg wrote an arrangement, and we got in some professional musicians. Jim Sullivan, who's a fantastic guitar player, and Reg played the piano on that session as well. With some wonderful Frank Clark, I think it was, on bass, and Dex talking. Go on.
You're right so far. You forgot Eric Ford.
Oh yeah, Eric Ford on guitar.
And he had the first round hold acoustic guitar that any session player ever had. It was 11 guitar.
That's right.
Oh, it would cost you fortunes. And he was the first one to use one of them. Brian Daly was the other guitar, and he played what's called a cello guitar with the F hole in it, and it had a very chunky short sound. So you had Eric with that big dong dong dung 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 big sound, and then Brian with that the combination was beautiful. But that's, and the drummer was Frank White.
Frank White, and he did quite a few records with us, and he came in one afternoon. We were doing an afternoon session. He said, "Oh, I was one of the Beatles this morning." he played drums on one of the Beatles records.
He actually played them in all of the original Beatles records. He was Ringo. Closely guarded secret, but it doesn't matter now. Who cares? Who cares? Because we were right in the middle of all that. So, because Abbey Road was just down the road from where we were recording. We were a proper studio. West Hampstead it was where the Mantovani Orchestra recorded and all that, and people like Jimi Hendrix. We went in, John, you'll be interested in this. We went in one afternoon into Studio 2, and the place was a wreck. It was a wreck. And our studio engineer, I can never remember his name, lovely guy, we knew him because he did all our records at the start, and he said, I had that lunatic in here this morning, Jimi Hendrix. He said he lined the walls with Marshall amplifiers, put a drum kit in the middle, and a microphone, and then an amplifier for the bass, and he expected me to get a sound out of that. And they were the legendary recordings. Nobody ever did them better than that. And that was Jimi Hendrix, and he was recording in exactly the same studio as us. But the actual session, yes, was sensational. It was like playing a game of tennis to us, because what happened really, and nobody ever says about this, and I always say it to young people today, rehearse, and then rehearse some more. And also a trick is to rehearse in different rooms, because we figured out, at least I figured out, that what happened to us on that original session was the fact that we were rehearsing in the same room all the time. We went down, and there we were in totally different circumstances, totally different atmosphere, a totally different room, a big studio, and it terrified us.
Yeah.
What I always say to people is rehearse, and with Charmaine, I'm coming to you, Con, just a second. And with Charmaine, if you remember, Con, I was absolutely a menace. I was a nutcase. I would drag the two of them into the bathroom, sing it 3 or 4 times, and drag them into the kitchen, singing, what the hell are we doing? And it absolutely paid off. Con.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. We were staying in some hotel somewhere, and we used to go from room to room, and some of the rooms were some of the other hotel guests were staying there, and we just get up and sing over and over again. They all thought we were mad, but it paid off, and we had a hit record it was released, if you remember, Charmaine was released 2 weeks before Christmas 1962, and it went into the charts. I think it was number 5 in the charts in early 63. So there you go, John.
And then we had the famous winter of 62, which if you look up on Wikipedia was the coldest winter ever recorded in Britain. There was a high pressure settled over England and stayed there for something like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I remember.
Snow was up to your shoulders, wasn't it, John? Are you old enough to remember that at all?
Yeah, I was 10.
Well, what's your memories of the snow, John?
That we actually had to dig ourselves out of the front garden, and the snow was about 2 or 3 feet high on the street. Yeah. But in those days, the local councils would always bulldoze the bus routes first, so people could get to work. You had to fight to get to the bus, but once you got to the bus stop, the buses all ran. Now they close everything down for the slightest little flurry. It's crazy, really. But anyway,
yeah. My memory, and Con will remember this, is we used to walk out the front door in Archway, 27 Fairbridge Road. There's a memory for you. We used to walk out the door.
38, I think it was.
I remember us getting on our hands and knees, trying to figure out where the gust of warm air was coming from. It was just so cold in the house. It was really, the landlord had a nooky little flat underneath, yeah. I think where he used to take his lady friends, and we were upstairs, and there was a burst in the flat, and he rang us up, and he said, "Would we have a look into the flat to see what was going on?" And we went downstairs, and we had to
the police actually to let us in.
Yeah. And we opened the door, and it was like an ice grotto. The water had come down and turned to ice as it settled, and it was just, the room was a block of ice. The table in the middle of the room was just a block of ice. And if you remember, Con, we were quite clever with electrics and all that. And if you remember, I decided that we'd put a wire from the communal electricity, which everybody shared, and we took it then upstairs, and we put it into a reverse plug, and put it into our mains, so that supplied electricity, and we were able to switch on the electric fire for the first time, and we froze to death, didn't we, Con?
Yeah, it was really fun.
I'll just finish this very, very quickly. Then we ended up, and we were listening. John Stokes had gone off yet again. Anything happened with us that was a bit disastrous, John disappeared. Nobody ever knows that, but Con and I do. He disappeared back to Dublin because he was a carpenter, so he could pick up on his job easy. And that was it. Con and I were professional people from university, so we had no chance of getting a job. And we were sitting there listening to a transistor radio, and there came Charmaine at number 5 in the charts. And the two of us turned to each other and said the immortal line, we nicked it from Simon and Garfunkel, as they sat outside their house in the freezing cold in a car and listened to their Sound of Silence in the States. We listened to Charmaine on the radio and turned to each other and said, I wish I was one of those fellas. What is your memory of what was your memory, John, of hearing Charmaine for the first time?
Well, actually, it's a very clear one. I was 10. It'd be around about beginning of February, and I was off school with tonsillitis. And we used to have a big old mains radio in the corner of the living room in our house in Lancaster, and I was listening to the Light programme, and the guy said, "Here's a record that's climbing the charts. It's from some new people from Ireland called the Bachelors, and you might like it." So they played it, and it was the harmony that did it for me. I was only 10, but I just thought that's a really nice sound, and it took me 5 weeks to save up the 6 shillings and threepence, I think it was. It took me 5 weeks to save the money up to go and buy it. And it was only the second ever record that I bought The first one was the Z-Cars thing, but the second record I bought was Charmaine.
Yeah.
And I've been buying them ever since.
Good for you, John. The thing with the harmonies was back in the day, they used to get musicians to write harmonies, and in an orchestra or a band, the lead was always played by the trumpet, which was up on top, and then the harmonies were underneath. And we contradicted that. We put the melody in the middle and put a harmony above, a third above, and the bass then a fifth below. Go on, Deck wants to say something.
And believe it or not, John, that was never done before. And we were the first ones to do it. And
the thing is, I mean, people listen to your records all over the world and still do. The Bachelors can never be mistaken for anybody else. And no one else can be mistaken for the Bachelors.
I'll contradict that, John.
You're not listening. You're making it. We're the listeners.
No, but I'll contradict that, because if you listen to all the original, who are the guys at Bee Gees?
Yeah.
Get yourself some original Bee Gees records, and they copy us to a T.
Right. Okay.
Exactly and precisely the Bachelors. And the Beatles did exactly the same, because their harmony was it was what was called Everly Brothers harmonies in those days.
Yeah.
So the melody, and then you had the guy singing on top. And then, of course, all they did, they heard our stuff, because they were, I repeat, they were only up the road in the studio. So the people used to meet, you know, the engineers used to meet in the cafes and all that. So all they did, they had Paul and John singing melody and one above, and then all they had to do when we came to 4-track machines, that's when the magic happened, the 4-track machines, then we were able to add in harmonies, and they just added in the third one underneath.
Right.
Yeah, it's great stuff, isn't it? Great.
Oh, it is, yeah. The whole thing fascinates me, the whole process. So.
Yeah, well, you did come to one of our sessions one time.
Yeah, 2 actually. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really good.
Into that one. Oh, lovely.
So there we are, John. Thank you very much for asking that question, or answering the question, and then giving us a question to answer, which we love talking anyway. You can't shut us up when we get going. But Con, shall we get on to the latest one? And the amazing thing is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the amazing thing is that when we had all the hits, there were no videos. It was only Queen that started all that with Bohemian Rhapsody. So now we're getting a chance of actually creating videos for those hits and singing them again and recreating them as we think they should have been done in the first place, because we've got all this fantastic equipment. Someday I'll give you a tour around my studio. It's only small, but massively powerful, which I love. I adore my studio. It's tremendous. But Con, would you like to introduce this next hit song?
It was, yeah. Another one of our hits. I think we had 18 altogether in the top 10 or something like that. Something like that. John will correct me, I'm sure. But anyway, here's our latest contribution to the show. And it's called Chapel in the Moonlight.
How I'd love to hear the organ in the chapel in the moonlight, while we're strolling down the aisle where roses entwine. How I'd love to hear you whisper in the chapel in the moonlight, that the love light in your eyes forever will shine, till the roses turn to ashes, till the organ turns to rust, If you never come, I'll still be there till the moonlight turns to dust. How I'd love to hear the choir in the chapel in the moonlight as they sing, oh, promise me forever be mine. To hear the choir in the chapel in the moonlight as they sing, oh, promise me forever be mine, be mine.
Excellent, excellent.
Wait now, I'm just.
Oh, look at all that applause, Dick.
Look at that, Chris, applause, come on, John, that's lovely, and Linda, that's terrific, and Maureen, that's lovely. Thank you all, and Joy, thank you.
Lovely to see my friend Chris there as well.
Mad there, that's terrific. It's lovely to see everybody going mad and applauding, and Philip Klusky isn't letting us see himself, and he's because I bet he's not applauding. I actually bet he's not applauding your son.
He's supposed to be coming over to see me and bring me some bottles for all this apple juice we're making.
You got to deal me in on the apple juice, Con. I love apple juice. I absolutely adore apple juice.
By the way, while I'm talking to you, can you ask Sandy to send me up some Formula 1 and Formula 2 to keep me healthy?
You were going to say that.
I'll turn my microphone on though, since you're talking about me. How you doing?
Oh, yeah. Listen, hello, Philip.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm. Lord, you gave me a fright then when you came on.
I do apologise. It's because I've got this silly hat on. That's why I didn't have the camera on. But there's the wave. Well done on all your production.
I know.
Your wonderful production.
I'll tell you something, Philip. That guitar playing in Chapel in the Moonlight was tasty. Even if I say so myself. I've got to compliment myself because nobody ever compliments me.
Right.
You know,
if you feel that way.
You see, I can't get a compliment out of Philip. Isn't that terrible, John?
Well, I just said you did a great job on your production just moments ago.
Okay.
By God, honestly.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when I used to play on stage with a horrible Fender twin reverb amplifier that was always too loud because you couldn't get them quiet enough. I used to play that. Everybody used to come up after every show and say, "My goodness, Dick, I never knew you were such a great guitar player." Now that we use all the proper equipment and everything is blended in, it all sounds like a record when we're on stage, I never get one compliment. Never, ever. So the next time you come to a show, John, you've got to say to me, "Dick, I didn't know you were such a..." On with it. Tell us what we're getting up to next week.
Well, next month, it'll be the 3rd of January. It'll be next year, would you believe? Yeah. And I hope you all have a lovely Christmas between now and then. Because I'm looking forward to Christmas because I'm spending it with my son, Michael, and his lovely wife and son. And anybody noticed that last song we did, in the background, there's a picture of my son, Michael, with his cap and gown on. And the thing he told me when he didn't have a cap, you know, for the picture. So all the students, they all had one cap, which they shared. They all got in the picture. Right, next, you take the cap. Anyway, there you go. That's the way it was then. So we've had a request actually for the next song we're doing next month, and that's for Erie Canal. So look forward to. I think John is nodding his head. I think that's one of your favorites.
Tell us about Erie Canal.
Yeah.
Because you told me you actually took a trip on a train up by the side of the Erie Canal. It's 361 miles long.
Yeah, I took the train from Toronto to New York, and it runs right along the Erie Canal, all the way from Albany to Buffalo, just like the words in the song. And the blooming song was going through my head all the time, you know.
Okay, so we're going to record it anyway.
And ladies and gentlemen, when I got that request, I wish I could remember the name of the chap who requested it. But we always look at the requests and then we pick the one that we like. And Erie Canal, I couldn't even remember it. But John Leyland gave Con and I a lovely pen stick, USB stick, with all of our hits, all of our music on, every single vinyl track that we ever recorded. Put it on, and there was Erie Canal, and it was horrible. I tell you, when you hear the version I'm going to do, I've started it already, and already it sounds good. But next 3rd of January, put it in your diary. You're going to enjoy this, and I've got some great shots of the Erie Canal for the video.
And the hit song for in the sequence is Hello Dolly. So we're looking forward to doing that. Dec, believe it or not, Dec is singing the lead on that. Hooray! Gives me a rest. So there you go. That's what we're doing next month. So until we see you again, have a lovely Christmas, everybody. Stay safe, and God bless you all.
So we're going to say the official goodbye. As we always do, it's goodbye from Dec and...
It's goodbye from Con.
Every time